Good. So here's the LT-SPICE simulation of our circuit. On the far left, we have a voltage source, which represents the microphone input. Right here, we have a high-pass filter. Next to that, we have an operational amplifier, an inverting operational amplifier. Then we have a low-pass filter, followed by a voltage follower, and then a high-pass filter, and finally a comparator and an LED diode. So the purpose of this circuit is for, let's say, like violinists to tune their violins to a certain pitch, and we've created this circuit to help them tune to about 440 hertz. So the way it works, when the violinist is low, or they're at a frequency that's lower than 440 hertz, the light will turn on and it'll stay on until they pass 440 hertz. Around 470 hertz, it ends up turning off. So we can demonstrate how each portion of this circuit works, right? So here is the input. And now, if we adjust this a little bit, we can see the output at the first high-pass filter, which looks the exact same. The first high-pass filter is designed so that it's a very small amount of waves that are actually filtered. This is because it's a noise filter rather than an actual functional filter. And then after the op-amp, we can see that we now have these peaks that align directly with the peaks and troughs of before. So the op-amp is an inverting amplifier, which is why we see that the troughs end up with peaks and the peaks end up with troughs. And the reason why it becomes a square wave is because we only send in 5 volts to each of the inputs of the amplifier. So as a result, instead of a sinusoid wave, we end up getting a square wave. And this is crucial for how the comparator works later on. So then after that, we have our low-pass filter. So here we can see that all the lower frequencies are actually being, so it's a low-pass filter, and we can see that there is some filtering that's going on within the circuit. And then after that, we have the high-pass filter. Well, first we have the voltage follower, which ends up giving you the exact same thing. The voltage follower is essentially just to separate out this side of the circuit from this side of the circuit. But then here is after the high-pass filter. So you can see now, and I'm just going to isolate this. So you can see now that the waveform looks quite a little bit different from the input waveform. Right now I'm sending in a 440 hertz input, so this works out. And then finally, to the diode, we see the output of the comparator. And the comparator is checking against 2.7 volts right here. So anytime it's above 2.7 volts, the comparator sends in whatever the reference voltage is, which is at 5 volts. So now let's see, we change this to like 2,000 or 20,000 hertz. So in this case, if we run, we can see that the output is essentially 0 all the way across at 738 millivolts compared to before when it was at nearly 3 volts. But yeah, so that's how our circuit works.